All right, everybody. This is CBSI Hot 10 show, Friday, March 6th, 2020. I changed the description too to add all the comics since we're doing the good descriptions in YouTube now and Facebook. I'm Dino. I'm going to be running the show tonight. We have our boys Brian McLay and the author of the top 10 himself, Vanessa. So, boys, I'm excited. This is going to be a good one. I can feel it.
First of all, I can't believe it's March.
I know, dude. You talk about me, dude. I got a baby in 2 months, dude. It's flown by.
I cannot believe it. So it's supposed to be in the 60s here next week, all week.
I think it's
starting to get hot down here.
Yeah, it's 60s on Sunday for us, actually.
Yeah, it was cold today. It snowed today, but the rest of I'm happy. I'm not going to complain about spring.
Yeah. Well, real quick, we want to give everybody a heads up. There is
there's a dog in the background.
I swear, the way he was carrying that thing, I thought it was a chicken. I was like, "What are you doing with the chicken inside?"
Yeah, right. Right. So, all right. So here we go, guys. Let's. The dog was ruining my train of thought here. But one thing I want to talk about real quick is we have a Comic-Con, Northeast Comic-Con coming up March 13th through the 15th. If any of you guys are out there, wear your CBSI swag or go get you some CBSI swag to wear during the show so the guys can say what's up to you. It's going to be crazy. A lot of guys from CBSI going to be out there. Very rare to have some of those guys be in the same place together. So if you're out at Northeast Comic-Con, go say what's up to the CBSI guys and make sure to go say what's up to Jim Steranko. Do yourself a favor, shake his hand, say hello, let him tell you a story. And then make sure you take a picture of Topher because you're not going to see him in the wild very often. So
he'll be the one walking around in a mask.
Yeah, he'll be the one walking around in the mask. Yep. So make sure you guys go check out Northeast Comic-Con March 13th through the 15th and say what's up to all the guys. And if you don't have any CBSI swag, go hit up cbsiswag.com. All right, let's get into it. Number one honorable mention this week, your Golden Age book. What a crazy sale, Ben.
Oh, yeah. We got Suspense Comics number 3. This is a Schomburg cover that is just it's beyond crazy. It's a super classic, this is probably maybe top 5 pre-code horror books. It's way, way up there. It's got Nazis, it's got bondage, it's got, just everything going on. And just, I don't know, that red on that KKK member right there in the front, it's freaky. The whole cover just freaks me out.
You mean Rip Studwell right there? You got games like nobody's business.
Yeah. So this week, and I mentioned this on the list. Heritage had a signature auction this week, and so there were. I know there was a 9.4 AF-15 that sold this week on that, and I can't remember the dollar amount, but it was big. They had a bunch of big books go off this week. So when I hear people say that comics are a dead market or whatever, I look at those type of auctions and see where the whales are spending their money and how they're spending way over value. They don't see it as a dead market. So if the guys with the money, yes, okay, so Joe Average, who's spending $28 a week, thinks it's a dead market. That's one thing. But when guys are spending, in this case, this Suspense Comics sold for $53,000 for a 5.0. If there are people spending, Mercedes cash for a Mercedes money on a comic book, somebody thinks it's still a solid market. So
coronavirus ain't scaring us yet.
No.
But they are they're getting close.
Right. So this week, go check out the Heritage for results from this week. You'll see some books in there that don't come up often. This is one that doesn't come up often.
And you don't have to pay for it either. You can just sign up, it's free, and then you can just kind of peruse the past auctions.
Yeah, well, you could do like me, and a year or two ago when I signed up, and then I was like, "Ooh, I want to buy some," and then bought something. Yeah, of course, you got to remember that the buyer pays the 20% premium for Heritage, so don't forget about that.
Yep, yeah, that could be scary.
Yeah.
All right, on to the second honorable mention this week. This is a beautiful cover. I wish it was on my list to pick up if I ever saw it in the wild. And if you have one, it might be worth throwing up on eBay because they're going for a pretty penny right now.
Yeah, we got Scarlet Spider #1. This is from 2012. This is the same year that the Venom variant came out. So this is actually the same issue, which, that's a good dollar book. It's probably $150, $200 book. But this one's only a 1 in 25. And I literally could not find another. I found one copy on eBay, and it sold this week for $135 raw. Yeah, which is pretty much almost the same price as what that Venom variant would sell for. I'm a little shocked that it's this difficult to find, but I know that Venom variant of this one was not one of the easier ones to find. I think they were a little. I mean, Scarlet Spider-Man is not like one of the, big. Big titles that were ordered.
Yeah, people were reading, yeah.
But yeah, this Bagley cover is it's pretty. I mean, he's ripped. I mean,
I like the design on the costume. I think the design is really freaking good, and having him up against that, I guess, grave like that, standing up against with the moon in the background or whatever it is, it's badass.
Yeah. So if you see it, yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible you could find this out there somewhere, but I don't think I've ever seen it in the wild.
Yep. And if you got one, go make some money off of it if it isn't something that you fancy.
Market's yours to do whatever you want to with it.
Yep. All right, on to number 10 this week. This is a book that I always search for, and I've never been able to find in high grade. So beautiful. I mean, not a beautiful book, but a great spec book right now. It's been a great spec book for the past couple of years if you can get it for a decent price. And that's New Mutants number 14.
Yeah, so this one's I think for years, I think most people have been completely confused by Magic's first appearance. It's kind of all over the place. Like, this came out, I don't remember the year, or the month, but like 2 months before, I think, was the Magic miniseries, I think, was before this, and it's titled Magic, but she's never called Magic in the books. So it's really odd. CGC labels this as the first adult Magic, or Ileana as Magic, which I guess she's in, what is it?
Giant Size.
Oh yeah, she's in Giant Size as a baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then she's also in Uncanny something. I can't remember the number, but it's got the big orange guy on the cover or whatever. I can't remember the number. That's also considered like a partial first. It's so confusing. I don't understand. But and somebody mentioned this on the comments on over at comicbookinvest.com. Raw copies are only selling for like 20-25 of this. 9/8 of this are now moving over 300.
Yep.
So that's a huge. Normally, when I think of, like, especially on moderns, they're pretty much on moderns, but you're normally looking at like 3x between a raw near mint copy and a 9/8 graded copy is usually about 3x. So this one's like 12x beyond what the raws are. I just don't think there's that many really nice copies. The census numbers are really low for 9/8 copies, and you would have thought. I mean, this has been well over $100 book for years. So the nice copies were getting graded, but there's really not that many. I mean, New Mutants, there were thousands or millions of copies of these out there. Why are there only like I think it's like 104? Like 100. You're always right on top of census. It's like 150 copies are 9/8. That's it. Super low for what this book actually is. So I don't know. I'm hoping the New Mutants movie is going to be good. I'm just praying that it is.
Me too. I'm right there with you.
140 9/8 Universal and 9 signature series for a grand total of 149.
I mean, that's insane. That's really low.
And the interesting factor is that even though it's 140 on the 9 6s, it's 146 and 9. So it's the same exact numbers as 9 6 and 9 8s.
And so you figure some of those 9 6s probably got pressed and pushed up. So I mean, you figure between 9 6s and 9 8s, there's not that. I mean, that's really low. I mean, there's less than 300 of them.
And then another interesting fact too is that there are newsstands of this too.
True.
Yes.
I bet you that's rare because I looked on eBay right now and we saw like 1 or 2 new. I think one CGC newsstand. It was all like a 3.0. It was or a 5.0. It was like something crazy.
Yeah.
I imagine there's Mark Jeweler variants too.
But I did hear that they pushed back the James Bond movie, so I think New Mutants has kind of got its own. I think it's got the weekend and maybe 2 weeks by itself. So I'm hoping it's good.
Yep. Great book if you can find it for cheap. So keep your eye out for it. You could probably find it in dollar bins if you're lucky. Yeah. All right, number 9. What a beautiful cover by Jenny Frisson. What a cover. I wish I would have seen this cover. I did not see it. I would have bought it. And like you said, this book, Mercy #1, the Jenny Frisson variant, I think there was only 500 made. But like you said in the write-up, Ben, that this was selling for pre-order for $19.99.
Yeah, and I can't remember who this was. I can't remember who this was exclusive to. I think it was Sanctum Sing. Is it Sanctum Sanctorum? Yeah, I think that's who. But I could be wrong. But yeah, it's a $50-$60 book. It is gorgeous, actually, and there are several of these Mercy #1 variants that are really nice covers. I don't really know much about the story. I know Merker and Dolfo wrote and drew it, but it seems like an interesting look. Like it's kind of like Victorian age, look to it. So it looks pretty. I'd be interested. I think she released this initially in Italy, like 2 or 3 months ago. So I think the actual, like, if you can find the Italian versions, they went live like a couple months ago. So I don't know what those covers look like, but this one,
it was recently released in Italy by Panini.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if they've got different covers or what they have for that, but yeah, they got some pretty artwork on it. That's for sure.
Well, I know there's a couple store variants for, like you were saying, about for this book. I'm looking it up right now. There was a couple that Outer Limits Boro exclusive Mercy #1. That's a gorgeous cover. Let me see if I can show you guys this. This is just one of the most beautiful covers I've seen in a long, long time. Sorry about this. Here we go.
There's an art. I think there was an art germ cover too, as well.
Yeah.
So there's a cover C art germ, B is Ramos, D is Enrico Marini, I guess. Cover E is Marco Bucci, and F is a blank sketch. So
yeah, this is the Andolfo variant. What a beautiful drawing.
That's a crazy looking cover.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be like if you're on Netflix, you kind of like Penny Dreadful or Crimson Peak, or Carnival Row, or Dark Shadows. Is going to be right up your alley. So
okay.
Yeah. So I believe there's also a variant that comicbookinvest.com did in partner for Mercy #1, if I remember correctly, that we talked about a couple weeks ago. So if you guys, yeah. So
I know.
You can check that out.
I know we're big Frisson fans over here at CBSI. So,
JJ Maxwell said there's a couple convention variants too of this out there. So,
yep, very cool, man.
I would assume at Panini it would have had one in floating around some kind of circuit in Europe. That's what, watch, it's going to be that one's going to be the rare one. It's like some kind of Panini European convention. It got limited like 100 books, like that Batman Joker cover that Panini did that no one could ever
Del
find.
Auto one.
Yeah, the Del Auto one.
Yeah, beautiful cover. Followed right up by another beautiful cover, the Shannon Maer book of the week.
Monsters, man. Every week he just comes out with something.
I know this is. I'm not a huge Shannon Maer fan just because it looks a little too digital to me, but I can really respect the art. It's beautiful. It is beautiful.
Yeah, so we got Dark Red #1. This is from the 2020 C2E2 that happened last week. Supposedly limited to 300 copies. I was completely confused. Dark Red was at C2E2 in 2019 for #1 because I was at C2E2 last year, and I remember the exclusives that they had then. I don't know why it's confusing. I mean, Dark Red's been out for over a year. Why would you put a #1
variant
out now? It's super confusing to me. I mean, it's. I'm not gonna say it's not. It doesn't. It's not a striking image, but it just doesn't. I'm confused.
Yeah.
I'm super confused. But selling $80 or more right now. But the color last year was a good seller. So.
And it's not like they held these for, like when you went there in 2019 for a whole year in a box somewhere, and we're like, oh, we'll forget about them. And like, I don't know if this is gonna be a gimmick where it's like 2021 they have another cover that from Del Auto or something that they've held on for 2 years. It's
right. It's so strange. I don't know. It confused me. But
yeah,
hey, you know what? Anymore in this market, nothing really. It may be confusing, but nothing surprises me anymore.
Yep.
Of what these people are doing. It would surprise me if they did something that made sense. That's what would surprise me.
You mean like hand number them individually with COAs and like
right? Yeah, I can imagine that.
Well, later on in our list, we have a book that at least numbered them, and we'll talk about that when we get there. You'd think that more books would do like you're saying, but there was a lot of hassle with C2E2 this year, from what I hear, and a lot of fun and games came out of C2E2. I'm sure we'll get into, but the next book is one of 2 books from this title on this list, and that is #7, The Last of Us: American Dreams, #1 of 4. And is this the non-variant cover?
Yes, this is just the regular A cover.
Yep. So the news coming out that HBO has optioned The Last of Us video game series as a TV show, which to me, I think that this book might be the best book to spec on the list, because like you said in your write-up, Ben, if HBO is going to run this into a series, we know what HBO does with their series. It's not hard to realize that it's probably going to be good. And if it is, this book, The Last of Us comics could be worth a pretty penny. We all know also what happens with video game titles that have comics. Those books tend to sell for a little bit more. So
it's not for comic fans who aren't video game people. #2 is coming out right around the corner, or #3 or whatever, the video game. So it's like it's coming. So it's going to be probably 2 seasons of it. So I mean,
yeah.
I would grab #4 too.
Yeah, I would grab all of them if I saw them.
They're hard to find, man.
Yeah. So very cool book, if you can find it. #6. This is a weird one, and like you were just talking about, Ben, nothing surprises you, right? So this is one of those things where just kind of came out of nowhere, where the creator of the book, if I remember correctly, one of the creators came out and made mention that they have optioned Coyotes for something, and it shot this up from a book that wasn't really selling at all to, I want to say, like a $20 raw book.
Yeah. So I know, I'm just going to say I know nothing about this book. What I do know is that I'm super confused why the indie titles that get optioned, why they jump so high, because I really can't, other than Walking Dead, I mean, that is the staying power of any of these indie books that have no history behind them. I mean, DC and Marvel, yes, those characters have been around for decades, but these indies, I mean, this Coyotes thing, does anybody even know? I mean, it looks like Rey to me from Star Wars. I mean, I can't even tell.
Or that chick from what was that other Image book? With the assassins when they're all in school.
You talking about with like Angelina Jolie? Were the one?
No. Remember, it was It was I read the whole book. It was
I just in high school.
Yeah, high school. They're in high school. Oh,
Deadly Class.
Deadly Class. Yeah, that girl from Deadly Class. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It confuses me who's spending the money on these, because I just don't see anything long term with any of these options on these indie titles.
I mean, Umbrella Academy, right? I mean, it blew up for like the first week it came out, and then I don't think anybody buying Umbrella Academy now.
And it was a great show. I mean, it was they did a really good job with Umbrella Academy. Yeah. They did a really good job with The Strain. I mean, that lasted like what, 5-6 seasons.
Yep. Dude, everybody was hammering The Strain in the beginning. Remember, everybody was grabbing for The Strain.
Oh, I mean, but those books sell for absolutely nothing. Yep. What's that? What was that one that was on CW where it was kind of like Chew, but it was a DC book where she like ate dead bodies or whatever and could see
iZombie.
Yeah, iZombie. Again, I mean that I think that just ended its last season or something like that. It was on like 7-8 years. I mean, it was a long time. And again,
and I wasn't in the game when Watchmen first came out, and I was looking at Watchmen books, but I don't know if that blew up. And then Watchmen again the second time, it's like, it's like, and Watchmen was actually pretty decent. I mean, once you get past the first couple episodes, I mean,
Watchmen was great. Yeah. Well, it was a great show. Yeah. But again, it just, I don't know, just these characters that don't have any history. I just don't see how people are spending this kind of money on that. But hey, if you can find this in the dollar bin, because I'm sure that's where they're all sitting.
Yep.
I would assume that the print run on this is probably really low. I don't know that for sure, but I'm assuming that it's probably not high. So
what year was that? What did we talk about?
2017.
2017.
Yeah, it was that 25th anniversary year of Image when they were doing all the special stuff.
Hey, and I mean, the creator tweeted that, that it was optioned and it's in development, but Mark Millar's been doing that for years about all his things. Oh, it's being made. It's being made. And where are they?
Yep. All right, on to number 5. We got to have our Batman book on the list. And funny enough, everybody's thinking punchline, but that's not why this Batman book is here. A new character that they created or I guess created, right? That is not punchline is what everybody's going crazy for in this Batman number 90.
Yeah, so we got the designer, which I guess had the cameo in 89 as well. So 89 is probably a decent book. I mean, it's got cameo of both punchline and this designer character, which apparently, and I read something because I don't generally buy new books, so I don't have Batman 89, I don't have Batman 90, I don't have any of those, so I haven't had a chance to read any of these as of yet. But I read somewhere that there is that Catwoman apparently does talk about the designer and like the kind of like a history of the Joker or something like that. I'm thinking it's in this issue. So if there is some kind of and I'm assuming that based on where it says Catwoman's secret or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that storyline, if it is something about the Joker's history, that may actually have some staying power, because there's really not a whole lot of that out there.
Nope. And people want it, even though they really don't. They think they want it. Yeah.
Before we go back, let's go to 6. Coyote was 13,215. That was the
a print run.
That's the magic number.
So that's a little more than like Walking Dead had, but obviously way less than saga or anything like that. But
I mean, and the sad part, boys, is that Gwenpool. I thought it was the first Gwenpool, but yeah, I mean, it's 140, 148 in the list for that month. So
yeah, so there's a few of them out there, but not a massive amount.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right, now back to number 4. This book is going to have a lot of conversation behind it. This is the C2E2 Venom variant that everybody's talking about this week. And from what I hear, there was a little hubbub going around about this book because a lot of people pre-ordered it. And was it Scorpion Comics that put out this book? Does that sound right?
I think Clayton Crain's with Scorpion, I believe.
Yeah. So Scorpion Comics, it sounds like they sold a bunch of copies without realizing that they had already sold them to pre-orders. And so a bunch of people didn't get the pre-orders. And I saw a little video that showed up on Twitter or Instagram from the Slabbed Heroes guy. He kind of just came out and stated that, what went on with this book. And a bunch of people had ordered this book through Slabbed Heroes as a 9.8 copy. He had talked to Scorpion Comics about putting some books aside. Well, after the show, they kind of sold those books, and he didn't get any of those. And there was a couple other people that said they didn't get theirs. So a little bit of a hubbub going around with how many copies are out there. But it says there's only 300 of these.
600, I think.
600. Sorry, 600. Yeah. So. It's a nice cover, and it just seems like there's a little bit of card games going around with it, though.
Interesting. I'd actually not even heard that about any of that.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting because this week it's been funny. There's been a lot of news going around this week about what went down at C2E2, that being one of them. But it's just a lot of obviously there's a lot of crazy variants that are on the list this week from C2E2. This being one of them, and that was just a recent story that I had heard the other day. But other than that, this is a beautiful cover, and it's Clayton Crain. How can you not like Clayton Crain? And if you like the American flag art and stuff like that, it's just another reason to own it.
Well, I was thinking that you're going to say controversy just for the fact that he's wearing an American flag around his neck, like he's just got out of a workout or something like that, like a towel. So that's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was something like that, but interesting. I did not know that. But this is selling for like $125. I think the buy-in was $40, so it's triple your money.
Yep, and it'll be interesting to see if it holds that over the next couple of weeks. We all know that some of these variants seem to take a deep dive a couple of weeks after the con. So,
normally I think a lot of times it's because the cons that, especially once these cons start rolling out, everybody's attention moves to the next con. But now since ECCC is canceled and
I was going to say that, man, the conventions could actually, these could actually be rarer or less dispersed because of certain viruses.
I'm interested to see how this is all going to play out.
I mean, did they release them on the website and just ship them? I mean,
I know one of them did. I know I saw somewhere that somebody was selling whatever exclusive they had for ECCC. That somebody was selling them directly from their website. So,
well, they're supposed to just postpone till later in the summer, right? So
they are, but you think about like some of these books. I mean, like this is this book just came out, so if they all of a sudden release this variant 4 months later, 3 months later, who's going to really care at that point? Yeah. So they're probably thinking, I just need to sell this now. So we'll just sell them on our website and not worry about. And some of these vendors may not even be able to go in the summer. I mean, they've got other cons that they're doing, and their schedules are probably super busy. So it's going to be hard for them to reschedule an entire con just because they canceled it.
Yeah. Yep. Beautiful book, though. So if it's your cup of tea, try to find one because they could be worth a little bit more depending on what happens. All right. Number 3. This is an interesting one, Ben, because it's got a character in it that seems to have the same name as a DC character. So it was kind of weird.
Yeah. And I'll actually shout out our CBSI Facebook page. when this book did start to spike this week, it's the first appearance of Sylvie Lustin, who I guess eventually becomes Marvel's Enchantress or something like that. But she is going to be on the Loki Disney Plus series. And so it jumped from $bins to $20. But so there was a thread on our CBSI Facebook page, and Mark Brooks actually chimed in. The artist Mark Brooks.
I think Mark Brooks is on our Facebook. So if you're not on our Facebook page, we have big people on our Facebook page.
We do. J. Scott Campbell has chimed in. Mark Brooks is. J. Scott Campbell is. I've seen other creators, big time artists and stuff chime in on our Facebook page. So yes, if you haven't joined our Facebook page, definitely do so, because they are watching, and like I said, he jumped in on this one and was like, "Hey, I drew this. I'm trying to figure out why it's jumping as well," because he wasn't really aware. But I would assume this is another one that you can still find in your dollar bins.
I'm gonna go with the Eddie Bravo conspiracy theory of DC is gonna fail on this relaunch, and that's gonna buy Marvel, and then they're just gonna merge all this together, and then they're gonna overtake the DC.
Well, they canceled a bunch of things just recently too, right? Didn't DC cancel a bunch of stuff?
I think so.
Yeah. So, interesting. Well,
I'm excited. Yeah, and I'm excited. I'm actually really excited to see the Loki Disney Plus series, because I think it's going to be a really cool series.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
I mean, I like Hiddleston as well. I mean, already, but seeing him kind of jump through time and stuff like that, I think is going to be kind of cool.
I'm just excited to watch something on Disney Plus again, because since Mandalorian's gone, I really haven't watched anything on Disney Plus.
I forget it's there. I keep seeing the thing pop up on my PayPal that look, another $7 went to Disney Plus, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever watched anything on it.
I'm on Verizon Wireless, so I got a whole free year through Verizon Wireless. They have a little giveaway. They gave Disney Plus for a year, just so I think either they could boast the numbers on Disney Plus, A, and B, it's like a gym membership. Nobody realizes it, and then when is it getting redone? I know it's not like Christmas time for me, but
right, yeah, that's kind of funny.
All right, on to number 2, the second showing of The Last of Us on the list this week. This is The Last of Us, number 1 of 4, the variant.
Yep.
Yeah, this is like I guess it's called like the video game variant or something. I don't really know exactly what it's called, but it came. Did this come with the video game?
I don't know. It's just the naughty variant, a Naughty Dog variant, or something like that.
Naughty Dog came out with their own comic book. That's so Naughty Dog's the maker of the actual game. So they probably cohorts with Dark Horse and actually came. Now, when I bought The Last of Us, it didn't come with this book. But then again, I got to remember back in the day, I don't know if they still had the bundles. Like, you know how like Spider-Man had the exclusive red PlayStation and all these crazy stuff. Now it could have actually came with the game if you had the $100 or $200 edition of Last of Us when it came out or whatever. So that's what I'm assuming.
Okay.
Or maybe GameStop rolled it out too. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Yeah, sales when this information came out about HBO, sales of this was like a $15, $20 book, jumped up to $50. There was a 9/8 sale for $3.25. Again, there's that huge. This was 6x what the raw copy sold for. So I don't know which one's going to have a correction, if it's going to be the 9/8 or if it's going to be the raw copies that will increase to get up towards where it should be. Mm-hmm. But that's double what it sold for last year. The 9/8s were $170 last year. So it's a lot of money for a comic book or for a comic based on video game.
It was only available in the survival edition / post-pandemic game version of it that was released in North America. And it sounds like they're kind of hard to come in good condition because the front and back covers are cardstock. So it seems like they had a little bit of an issue, maybe collating and stapling and stuff. But it's a tough book to find, from what it sounds like, and it was only available in that special survival edition post-pandemic game. So it was only available. It says the comic was only available in the survival edition game released in North America. So there you go.
And, you've played this game, so are you actually kind of looking forward to seeing this?
Yeah, I actually am. I mean, when I played it, it was there's few games or few movies that I've seen that translate well to video games. GoldenEye being one of them. Because it was a video game and movie video game coinciding. But I was like, when I watched the movie, I'm like, dude, this would be a great video game. This video game would be a great movie when you're playing it. I mean, the cinematics and everything in the video game was ridiculous. I mean, when I played it, like, you got lost right into it, and I'm like, dude, it's like almost like Uncharted. Like, it would be a great movie. I mean, I can't wait. I hope, and who's the actress from Inception, the girl.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Ellen Page.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the foreign one.
No.
Umbrella Academy.
So yeah, Ellen Page was actually the mocap. Like, it was designed around Ellen Page when it first came out, the actual girl. So rumors is that she might take the mantle of. I mean, she's still younger, youngest looking. I don't know how, but
yeah, she's probably in her 30s.
Yeah.
And then another guy I saw online that looked pretty close to the main character. But no, it was a great game, and I'm pumped to see the movie. I'm actually, or series or whatever they come out with. I'll probably actually sit down and actually watch this one, not skip it.
Yeah,
cool.
Very cool. Well, before we go on to number one, I want to talk about the Decorum number one variant from One Stop Shop. If you guys like this cover and it's something that you want to check out, there's a lot of talk about this book being a really good book. And tosscomics.com has a special variant available, brought to you by One Stop Shop. So go check it out if it's a book that you might want to pick up.
It's got that weird God, who is it? Is it Idol? Billy? No, not Billy Idol. Right?
David Bowie.
David Bowie, yes. David Bowie themes.
Yep, kind of like Blade Runner style David Bowie stuff.
Yeah.
David Bowie, cool. Billy Idol.
Whatever, same difference. Same era.
All right, so on to number one this week, and this cover really just pops out at you. I mean, I'm not a big fan of this one, but I do love the negative variants. My favorite one is the Witchblade one that he did way back when. I think it might have been the first negative variant that he did. But this is the one that I was talking about. This is the issue that they were smart enough and they numbered. So this was a C2E2 variant too with this week, I'm imagining.
Yeah, so he's actually done this over probably the past year. There was a green Rogue one, I think.
Yep.
It might have come out it might have been at Emerald City last year, and it's numbered. There's a
lot of them.
Yeah, there's several of them, and they've numbered. I think they've numbered. Witch. Yeah, I think they've numbered them all. If I remember right, which is smart. I don't know why they numbered it on the front. I probably would have rather seen the number on the back because it kind of distracts. Yeah, it kind of distracts a little bit from that negative space. This one, I think that yellow is just so vibrant and so it just boom.
I couldn't imagine it being the orange. You remember the old school orange one? The orange and the brown. I don't think that would have worked. You know what I'm saying? Like
no. I think the yellow is what makes this just hit you right in the face. But
when we say by he, it's John Tyler Christopher, just so everybody knows.
Right. Yeah. But what is surprising, or what surprised me, is that because there are 3,000, which is a lot anymore. For that's like the generic store variant is 3,000. I mean, that's just kind of what that they kind of throw off for $5-10 or whatever just to get you to buy the B or C version of it or something like that. This one's numbered to 3,000. But it's selling for $100 to $125 or more.
It's crazy that, like you said, it's selling for more than this book, which has less copies. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, by 5 times.
yeah.
Now I do like this cover better, and it is obviously it's Wolverine. It's Wolverine #1, so I mean it's kind of his his series coming back. But still, I mean, I don't think there's I don't remember hearing that there's like a new character or anything in this. Is there? I mean, I don't think there is.
I think it's just nostalgia. I think.
I mean, yeah, maybe. Maybe. And honestly, I've been a big hater of. Well, I wouldn't say a hater, but I've been a big. I've said for a while that I think Hulk 181 is way overpriced. Maybe it's not. Maybe they're just people are just. Maybe Wolverine is as popular as Batman. I don't know. Maybe it is, or more. I don't know. Maybe that's why it's selling for so much, is because there's so many Wolverine fans, and 3,000 is just not enough.
I probably would say. I mean, with the success of Logan and being Wolverine, like you said, and how Wolverine was badass in the cartoons and stuff like that. I mean, I think did you see that 9/8 are going for 500 now? Did you see
this?
That? Yeah, because it's at C2E2, right? So people just bought the book, and took it in, and got it on-sited. I mean, I guess, and I'm going to say they're going for best 530. They're getting listed at 500, 530. Let me see if actually one went off, so we get some kind of real good data here. Give me 1 second.
While Dino's doing that, if you guys haven't liked or subscribed, please do so. We'd appreciate it. Check out our other shows on this channel. Check out the Tales from the FlipSide show every Monday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Check out the Global Comic Safari show about foreign comics, which is just killing it lately. And we'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. So
that's a little high, because right now they're selling for like 200 for Blue Labels, and somebody got lucky and got John Tyler Christopher to sign it, and that went off for 170 as a buy it now 9/8.
Ooh, that's cheap.
That is cheap. I was surprised.
But I mean, David says the price settle a $30 book. It may, because I think that's where kind of all the rest of them kind of fell back to. But I think they're gorgeous. I think that the ones that I've seen, the Scarlet Witch, the Rogue, they're beautiful books.
You know what's funny? I don't really buy too many variants or like C2E2s or convention ones. When this goes down, this is one book I'll be looking for when it goes down, like when it takes a dip, that I'll be like, if I can get a 9/8 for $100 or something, or when it gets down, I'll buy it for $100.
Stick it up on your wall.
Yeah.
People will be like, walking your house like, wow, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Well, he did a really cool Kamala Khan one too. That was just beautiful. But the one that I like the most, that I think I've talked about on here, I'm trying to find a little better picture of it. Was Witchblade 161, and he did a couple variants of that. Let me go ahead and see if I can find it. Here we go. This is just a get out of here.
Yeah, thanks everybody who's watching and commenting. For some reason my computer's not showing me, but thank you for that.
This is right here, the JTC Witchblade variant. And I think this might have been the first one that he did in this style. If anybody out there knows, let us know, because I can't find anyone that's older than this. They did a really cool Dia de los Muertos version of this. And then there is a variant of this one where it's she doesn't have the Dia de los Muertos face paint on. But what a beautiful cover that is, too. So JTC still killing it out there. So very cool. All right. That is the list this week. Again, you guys go to comicbookinvest.com for all your comic and speculating needs. Get yourself some CBSI swag. And if you're going to be out at the Northeast Comic Con, say hi to the guys. Wear some CBSI swag so they can say hi to you. And check out this Decorum #1 variant from tosscomics.com, the one-stop shop for your comics. A special store variant for Decorum #1. So other than that, we appreciate you guys joining in, and we will see you next time.